그 생각보다 아주 지금 지금 저기다 계셔 남주당 아주 최를 냠내 제 계셔제 언제 영아 저기 아직 똑과 남규라 계셔 규라게 마도바 인바인다 아주 개와치마 아주 싫어지게 갑라 개와치마 가서나 마저기 탑람들라 그래요래서네 똑미고네 아주 냠술련제 삼다제 아니데 아니가 수팅 삼당고래 때네 삼다토바이나 나서 기 말해서지 대지단에 아주 미규말 파자네 셰바네 되는시래 들들에 아직 한 넘기네 아주 동네 되는 예만님이 계셔 숙천부쪽 아직 대화전에 계획이 예만이야 되네기 미유샤지 몰람 잡든 제베네 야 동네 돈에 아직 삼다나도 따지 아니 개와치마 아니 대화전에 기토야다 안디 멤베게 아직 나기 전에 냠내지 두스는 냠내지 두바이네 냠내는 냠내지 곰시 여바이네 아직 동기 전에 아니 그마 시갈라마들이야 아직 와다냐 아직 냠낸 제발 좀 두어야 된다 소용거래 당 안으로 미규말 찾아봐 당 안으로 쉐베네다 아 동네고네 삼당오래 해야지 다 동네에 가르스나 가고 내 사병이 돕세야 당 내 몰람이 또 펜피도 되는 뭐 곰베도 되는 게 가서 님부군도 집에 또 없어야 돼. 온도시네 디삼당고래 해야지. 되네게 삼당도 봐이나 되네 삼당지 우체 소매네 니겨와치만 가서 기 말이 된줄이 기그래 해서 올다 라다미
Good evening. Last week we looked at the verse 112 on transference of consciousness on the Puja practice. So the meaning of this verse is that Dharma practitioners engage in the accumulation of virtue, and it's through the power of this virtue that we attain the causes for good rebirths in our future lives. So the utilization of the practice that was presented last week, that of the 5 powers, this can be done by practitioners of varying levels. So there will be those who, in order to accumulate virtue to attain a good rebirth, will practice the 5 powers. There will be those who also make strong aspirational prayers to be born in a pure land, and to power those prayers, they engage in the practice of the 5 powers. And there will be others who are practitioners of Tantra, and they will also engage in the practice of the 5 powers. So these 3 different types of practitioners, or these 3 different groupings of practitioners, will all, to ensure that they attain a good rebirth as a human or a god, will engage in the practice of 5 powers, conjoined with either with the mere accumulation of virtue through those 5 powers, or also powerful aspirational prayers, or also with the conjoined with the practices of Tantra. So for ordinary people like us, we certainly also need to engage in the practice of the 5 powers, which you'll recall are those of the force of virtuous karma, the force of prayer, the force of disenchantment or regret, the force of intention, and the force of familiarization or meditation. And one does so in order to bring about the attainment of a good rebirth and close the possibility to falling into the lower realms.
도스네 다디 연체를 양주기 Lama Chöpa 돈에 냠는지 림바디 조디마 다이 직네 슈차와로 최고래 그래서 당한 저기 Lama Chöpa 냠는지 나다 되는게다 직 도스네 림바 먹고 손서와 다되네 마 도르나세 도르뒤시 삼담에 나서다 봐 녀마 냠는지에도 수치도 심마 먹고 손사와서 수 뒤뒤직질배 직지나 지나를 주변에 있나서다 더나 계신계와 탐지도 공부기계 전매 지손에 구송투기 상호 군전배 세계 투보교로 진교로 없어져.
Now we have concluded the main stages of training of the Lama Chöpa, and we really just come to the conclusion now. So we come to the 113th verse, and this together with the 114th verse has an outline which isn't in the text that was given, praying to be guided by the Lama during all future lives. So 113th verse, in short, And when I read this, I'm just going to miss a few words in the third line because they're just not there in the Tibetan. In short, please bless me, my protector, to be cared for by you from birth unremittingly throughout all my lives. Okay, now I'll say it. Until I become your chief disciple, holding every secret of your body, speech, and mind.
Adorna said the genial Shibana, Genialia, and Yamlinchi, the Rimambu, somebody, Susan to Shabana, that do serious, and that kissing Kewa, Tamji do, said that, Lama, the Chike, Anzulia, Kewa Lemba, kissing Kewa Tamju, Anzukiti, Kewa Lemba, that said, Kishu, Lamis and Chu, Yamneju Kokara, Yakuchun, Sosambe. And in Ashinda, Sangi Koba Mato Badongai, Kawa Kiti Kevina, so that Kawa Chima, the Chima, the Niki Kawa Tamjidu, and then Kiti Keva in there, and Delia, Kishin Kawa, Donna Kishin Kawa Tamjidu, said the Kiti Keva in a Kawa Lemba in a Sach Kokora.
In the English, the first line of the Tibetan is mixed across the first two lines of the English. I'll read them together. In short, please bless me, my protector, to be cared for by you from birth unremittingly throughout all my lives. So it starts off in short or in brief, and this is a reference to that many stages of training have been presented thus far, many stages in which we to train our mind. So now we're coming to a condensed section where we're requesting blessings that from lifetime to lifetime, or we have it here as throughout all my lives, from lifetime to lifetime, wherever or whenever you appear, may I be born there and be cared for you throughout all these lives, from lifetime to lifetime. So in the newer translation, we have there to be guided, and the older translation to be cared for. And the older translation there is just a little clearer. And so in short, or in brief, refers to what has been covered, all the stages thus far. Now we're seeking blessings to never be separated from our Lama, and always wherever we are born, may it be where he is.
Lama Chöpa Gandu Chumbigi Sajidela Ngakiwa shows a disigo maritati. Daddy Garsona Arangida, Sedelia Nyamlenche, Sechema Kiawale, Aja, Detalia, Sanjo Kobamatobana, Yanja Kiawale, Aja Kiawale, Nyamlenchigro, Kedi Ine, Akiwa Lembat, Lasori, Donna Kishin Kiawa Tamjidu said. And Kedi Ine, Sanjo Kobali, Mato, Pardo, Yane and Kiawa Lenching, Chucheg, Kopraki, Kiawa Lembat. Tamchido said, this is what Tamchido said.
This expression, life to life, so wherever, throughout all lives, until I become enlightened, I will continue to take rebirth. So this then is the meaning of the expression that we have here, throughout all my lives.
That is Tamchido. Then the combo Chökyi Gyaltsen said. That the Niki Jawa Gidi Lembina, Sanjo Gova Matoyo, the Jawa Gidi Lembina, the Jawachima, that the Sedelia, Lama Chöpa Ale Chö, the Niamlenche, Chöshua, Kovra, Jawachima, Jawa, that Jawa de Yang, and Lamegia, Zewi Wangi, Alia, and just Jamebas, the Gidi Hinea, Alia Chö Song, and Yamlejimba Dueta. And this is the Sanjo Gova Matoyo, Badonga, Gidi Jawa Lembina, Lama Chökyi, and Chörongan, the Chökyi Gyaltsen, Zewa Chwameba, Zewa Chima, Jisung, Roches, Jisung Roches, Sugar, Dadonala, Disungoranga, Sanjo Gova Matu Yebadu, Gedi Jawa Lembe, Lama Chökyi, Zhao Zi Wangi, Zhao Mebajik, Mutushanga, Jisung Roches.
Then into the second line. Once Lama has been referred to as a protector, or in the newer translation, savior. So the same word gompo you see in the second line, the first phonetics, gompo, is usually translated as protector, but it can be as savior. And here the Lama is being requested that throughout all my future rebirths, may we never be separated. So this would be the meaning of the second word, the word in the second line, drel me. So we see in the new translation there's inseparable. That also carries the meaning of continuous, which is similar to what we have in the older translation, unremittingly. So therefore the supplication is, in all my lives until I take rebirth, may we be inseparable, continuously together, in order to be guided by you, to be cared for by you. And the meaning there is to continue as you have done in this life, to guide me, to care for me, by teaching me the Dharma.
Geshe Sung se de la megi Loma Geshe Sung da Geshe Sung se de ane la megi ma ni lam nyamle rimba lam den che de lam pa song ye chue song ye de ta la megi je da Geshe la megi Loma Geshe Sung da ga de sung go re la ne Geshe Sung se pa sung se na de de ne sung la ba sim bas ke marwa sung se da Geshe Sung se ze wang ge de ndi on nyamle ya bu che ya sang ge ko wa thop na sen be ge da ze wa che che ane de ya an ji ge lam nyamle rimba an pa ji ge kamna me ba de tymbe tap ke tu je to ne lam nyamle rimba de ba de la ane la me ge nya di de ba de la me ge Geshe Sung ha sa de Geshe Sung na de re.
This term that's translated in the first lines either as to be cared for or as to be guided, this is referring specifically to as you are in this life, caring or guiding for me through teaching the path to enlightenment, through illuminating the path to enlightenment. Continue to do that. May, through us being never separated, continuously together, continue to teach me. So being cared for, being guided, doesn't refer to the Lama holding our hand or caring for us physically, but through caring for us spiritually by teaching us.
Da la me ge Geshe Sung yo de da la me ge lam nyam ling gi rimba de ma tin yo de da nga ju ge de la me song wa de la me chue de ge nye Chopa che de ne ge de de la ya na ya do sam dang den da ha go de ne de de gong bei ge gong yo de gong bei tok ba nyam nyam gyu la ya ji yong go lo wa da je san thue sam gong sum che ne la me ge Geshe Sung de la me Geshe Sung se la me ge nga zu lam nyam ling rimba den ba de che men di den ba la de ne Geshe Sung ne so la Geshe Sung ne da Kusung Tuki Sangwa Kunzin Be, Kusung Tuki Sangwa Kunzin Be, Lamege, the Nige, Geshe Sung, Jisung, and Lamege, Tuesang Gomson Yamlinche, Rimba Patemba, Nashi, so sugging in Yamlinche, the Nige, Tubi, Donna, some Deno Gomje, the Nigo, Gomje, Kusung Tuki Sangwa Kunzin Be, Lamege, Masumba, Nashi, Lamege, Tukula, Guyu, and then a Sungu, and the two, and Dinashi. Being this request to never be separated, to continuously to be together in order that the Lama cares or guides one through teaching the Dharma, together with this request is the implied commitment from the student to engage in hearing, reflecting, and meditating on the Lama's teachings. So hearing them, in other words, to continuously receive teachings, to reflect on them, coming to the point where they are able to engage in actual meditation with calm abiding and special insight on the teachings. So this is implied in this request, that this determination from the student is implied in this request, that they will repeatedly over a sustained period, and here this sustained period is life to life, and throughout the lifetimes, engage in hearing, reflecting, and meditating on the Lama's teachings. And thereby, for us in English, it's now the fourth line, the third in the Tibetan, hold every secret of your body, speech, and mind. This then refers to, through training precisely in accordance with your teachings, that all the qualities that you have, your qualities of your body, speech, and mind, that I attain exactly those as well. So that then is the meaning of what we have in English as the fourth line, holding every secret of your body, speech, and mind, through training precisely in accordance with the Lama's teachings throughout lifetimes,
develop the self-same qualities as our Lama has.
Desang kusung tusum yunden, ne kusung tusum ye sangye yunden, guyu sangye yunden, tuyu sangye yunden, ne sungye sangye yunden saji. Zada kusung tus yunde de la yunde raba, de la ya chamo, and jingan juge bei xin de chamo re, na so yoro da, on disi ore da, zada sangye kusung tusum yunden da, ane bei sangye yunden chamo dige ine, ngi hago dene nyamlen di, je nyamlen dingi, nyamlen je tokpa dingi gyule gewa, gyawar shosigo da. Kun zimbala anjuge da lakbegi jala zimbala ma sama zinjo ba sigurwa. Chiza lamigi yunden kusung tusum yunden, jidane yunden, indi ma kusung sangyo yunden digi susuge nyamlen je, nyamlen je tokpa gyule gewa na, nyamlen gyule gewa na, lamigi kusung tuki yunden sangwa digi anju zimbale. Karasane ngā zui zinje, maungpa na, ya ngā zui nyamnyong tohne, ya shalma nyamlen jeju, konsulia di pendo yungura je zimba. Denige, Lobsang Chöpa na, denige, lami kusung tusung yundi na shinji ngā zui, lami sungpa na shinji, nyamlen jeju, tokpa gyule ki mato bay na, kusung yundi di, jidang döse shungure di mato, sangwi ki, ane yundi di ngā zui gyule ma ki bay na, ki mato bay na zimba chagi zingo marwa. Denige, zada, kusung tuki sangwa kunzin bechi 지난 구유연된 데려야 아니 투모도 가서 차상기 롱주 투약이 송구 연된 용거래 ben에 최소야 될 지난 소야 제가 저기다 네 내가 소야 되대 다 남을 지금 저 파진 쪽이 있는데 지단 소셔야 디나신다 구유 송구연된 디나지 송구 상회연된 남나 다 예림나 조름이 람이름바드 나게 상화진에 지용을 용자시 송모 봐서 지용의 용자 마소 봐대 두샤 레다 코로나를 손베 디 구유 상회연된 송기들 상회연된 안에 상 송구연된 지용구연된 상회연된 디나신 안 구유나 넘버 2야 안 가지고 지단이 지금 가지고 넘버 2야 되라 다 가지고 차상기 총토 두고요 봐자 투모연된 책으로 다 구유 상회연된은 야 구유게 넘버 2점 넘버 구유 넘버 2야 되게 다 구유 상회연된 책으로 와 그래서는 두샤 레다 마도 차상의 통도 말에 차상 되면서 그 상에 디나지 투기 연대들이야 너지 잠 인제다 지다사데 아주 지단의 제 디멤베게다 최 도베게다 동반이 라소바다 되게 상의 연대 차신 차와 도베게다 연대 어두스네 디나신다 라미기 연대를 가실 그 연대라야 아주 지용기 돈에야 롱주 투기의 그 연대 디멤베게다 지리 레다 다 되게 상황진에 롱주와 롱 구연된다 송구연다 대수 차상이 라메게 파 제원게 안에야 롭된 제 딩게 냠소 렌제 되게 냠는 똑바디 위규를 깨워쇼시오다 상황 구송두게 상황 군진바 세다 군진바 세데 그 똑바규를 깨워시오래 진바쇼시오래
Holding every secret. So what does this then refer to? So we've spoken about quality, it refers to the qualities of the body, speech and mind of the Lama. These will have varying levels. There'll be those which are common, those which are subtler, and those which are extremely subtle. So here, or maybe those which are common, those which are hidden, and those which are very hidden. And this is what is, and when it says here every, this refers to all of these, whether they are common, hidden, or extremely hidden. And holding, this in other contexts is the word for grasping. So here it's also translated as apprehending. So understand as apprehending these qualities, those which are commonly attained, those which are less common, and those which are extremely hidden. What are then some of these qualities? So we can think, if we're thinking of this division between those which are more evident, those which are hidden, and those which are much more hidden, we can think of comparing between the qualities that arise from practicing the sutra, the qualities that arise from the generation stage of Tantra, and the completion stage of Tantra. And we can think of, for example, qualities of the body. So qualities that an ordinary being, of the physical body of an ordinary being. The qualities of a yidam, which would be a secret attainment in that. And the meaning of the word secret would be that it's not something that can be perceived by many types of beings. The vast majority cannot perceive a secret, a simple kakaya. Then in terms of the qualities of the mind, we can think of general qualities such as love, compassion, as well as more subtler qualities such as the wisdom realizing emptiness, and then the subtlest quality of their very subtle mind realizing emptiness. So in this way, one can understand that the qualities of body, speech, and mind will have many levels. Those which are more manifest or more obvious, and those which are more hidden. And this is the meaning then of the word secret. But all of these levels of attainment relating to the body, speech, and mind come about in dependence on the student's commitment to repeatedly, over a sustained period of lifetimes, to continue to engage in hearing, reflecting, and meditating on the teacher's teachings, and thereby to be guided to achieve all these qualities which are identical to what the Lama has already attained.
Tene jidang kusong du tumo we ge yenden de gyule ge tene sangwe yenden de na shin de gyule ge mena ane so sanje ko ba thobala chasan tingen tu go marwa sanje ko ba thobala chasan shin go gore dimase sosugi da sanje ko ba thoya de gari 된다 resne semjin yi shen gi 된다 je de shen den je 된다 la sanje go gore现在shen den je go ba de la shen den je de la shen le ba song go gore ba da jisan de ne yan ane sanje gi 일라미요 구 투모 연된디게 신제 상회 연된디게 신매바이나 되네 투모 연된디 랍사 딘 랍산 조사를 받네 네 상회된 시에야 말봐 제자디네 인자 아마 지기 신기 된다 샘제한테 상기 고방 토야디 신뇌 치료래 신뇌 제자 신기 된 제발라 신 감다 매바 튕비게 라밍 하나도 최송바 나신 아니 투모 연된다 투모 마인 비게 연된디게 봐 아니 랍제 냐면 지주고 그러봐 신뇌게 제발나 디래 다 랑이 상기 고방 토비시 섬다베네 디서 연된디게 길마기와 상기 고방 토토 매바라 되네 인자 구송투게 상유 군진바 전에 투모하다 투모만 비 상유 연된 차상 아니 냐면 규를 또 보기를 끼고 그래야지 너도 숨거라.
Here the aspiration is to develop all the good qualities that the Lama has, qualities of his body, speech, and mind, both at the common level, or the evident level, as well as the hidden level, or the secret level. Because without doing so, one's spiritual development will be limited. It will have a limit. So with a motivation of wanting to benefit others, all others without exception, one requests one's Lama to guide us throughout lifetimes so that we can develop all his good qualities, both those at the evident level as well as the hidden level, in order to be able to benefit all types of beings. Because without attaining the secret or the hidden qualities, Buddhahood cannot be achieved, because there will be a limit to one's spiritual development. So therefore, to use other terminology, both the common and the uncommon attainments have to be acquired in order to be able to benefit limitless beings in perfectly in accordance with their own personalities. So therefore we are requesting our Lama to continue to train us in accordance with our own disposition and inclination, so that we can spiritually develop and then impact others, guide others in accordance with their own dispositions and inclinations.
투어스는 쪼올이래. 아주 템바상에 투바상에 줌된데 라기도 투발레도 투바상에 줌된데 라기도 투발레도 뇨모비게 자탐지 바샤는 제바 빵제 델레 투바 되네 남땡행이 쪼어야지 그거라. 디나신 다디 세유 투어세디 데니기 달라메기 르메 나네 제자 라미오 구송 투숨이 연된 제 투모다 투모면 연된 탐제 디나시 징이 규례 예제 는 냠는 지킨기 세긴한데 로메난데 로모 조디 조규와 쇼어세지 몰람자로다 지난 라미지기 로메지기 기루이네 아도 지속이 랍다지나래나 아니 지기 베베 가소레 랍다기기 기루진 센디지나래야 근데 가시 빼야 보신 가시 오신 가시 제라마신 디나서 용고로와 디나지 라마지 로마나래 안디니스 나서 용고로와 제가 디네자다 가르고고서는 디나데다 약쇼 신발직 쪼르 차반에 라미기 연데 신겐이 약쇼의 차반에다 라메세 유토조 그래서는 니게 현준 라메 제반에 현은 야신부지 투고로와 안디네자 제가 세유 투고기와 투어교 진기로 없으데 되네게 라미 로메나네 라미 구송 투스미에 상완 다시 진 투견기 나네는 조교시 조교와데 라미 진기라 그러시 해야지 녀모 사회 바샤데 제발레 자와제 투바스 딜레 파 투바람나 한지게 베네 마르게는 먼저 톱성 투바세 저로와 딜레 야와로와 토바 디나주 녀모 바샤다 제바 빵빵빵바인사 투바 딜레 투바데세 투바 조세지
Then the final line in the Tibetan, so we have in the older translation, until I become your chief disciple. In the newer translation, it's which is better, and thus to become your chief disciple. So here, the request is to be guided so that we can spiritually develop in developing all good qualities through abandoning all faults, developing the common or the evident, manifest good qualities, as well as the uncommon, the hidden, the secret, the not visible good qualities, in order to be of great benefit to all sentient beings, not be limited in whom we can help and whom we cannot. And therefore, the meaning of becoming the chief disciple, the principal student, is referring to the request to be guided to abandon all the afflictions, together with their seeds and their stains. In other words, to become a perfectly developed a person, to be able to benefit others, all others. So therefore, and thus to become your chief disciple doesn't include any meaning of say being competitive, being the top of the class, but it's so that one can abandon the afflictions together with their seeds and their stains, and thereby to abandon all faults and perfect all good qualities, attain the common and uncommon, the manifest and the secret qualities, and be of greatest benefit to all beings.
Nanda dana dor duna se dana da duja ne jitu sungor wada pa jesanda lamigi nga ani jige sanjo ko ba ma thoi ba de ki jewa lemba yina yang denigi jewa lemba de lamigi tukse wongi nani ja nyamne yi rimbe chue de ge mutu janga sungro ji esaje denigi mutu sungne sungbuide 딩이 라메 송바 나신 퇴섬 곰숨지 냠는 제발할 때네 라메 결혼을 규례 유비 구송 투숨이 연된 상위 연된 가는 좀 지차상 디나신지 니 규례 끼투바 용어 쇼세지 데니기 끼투네 니 라메 결혼기 세계 조제제 라메 결혼의 전례 판도 제반하지 니 얘기하셨는데 니 두투의 용약이 근데 라메 진이 라브지 해서 또 나니 디데다 주
To summarize the meaning of this 113th verse is that so those are the supplications one is making to one's Lama, is that until I attain enlightenment, please continue to teach the Dharma to me, illuminate the path to me, guide me, so that I can develop all the qualities that you have, qualities of your body, speech and mind, both those which are evident and those which are not apparent to all beings, the secret qualities, so that I can become just like you and be of unparalleled benefit to all beings, no matter their spiritual disposition.
지게 사실 진일라바다 데니게 초신요 고미하다 최고 부하다 디바샤바다 데니 제 차상 가르레스는 연된 또부 규라디 라미 구송투 연된 나신 진앙스 규라 계획이 된다를 지고로 와다 진짜 디 된다를 지고로 차상 진짜 된다 만주 냠는 제바디 된다 가르라나 라미 구송투 상화 투의 구송 상화다 투모다 투모만 연된 디나신 진앙스 규라 계획이 된다를 지고로 와 진짜 된다 세데 더든 디레스 진짜 디 냠는 제라 아니 그디나다 라미기 독재의 지수송제 냠는 탈침바 용화스 온도스텐다 더드나 디나데다 닝보디 붙여서 아주 라마 주변 냠는 제기도 나 닝보디 디나 뒤바래셔.
This verse started with, in short. So this is, can remind us then to all preceding 112 verses. What was presented there, varying levels of training, where we did visualizations, we engaged in purification and accumulation of merit, all in order so that we can develop the self-same qualities of body, speech and mind that our Lama has in order to benefit others. And that too is the meaning of this verse.
나디네 원마 나 권주에 가동은 바 상기비 거기에 토만이는 다결대 내가 탈도 그래 말려봐 비밀은 유튜브에 다시 설러세.
The 114th verse. My protector, please grant that all be auspicious for me to be among your first circle of disciples whenever you manifest Buddhahood, so all my temporal and ultimate wishes, without exception, become effortlessly and spontaneously fulfilled.
나 권주에 가동은 바 상기비세 라미기 라마 상기기 신기 된제발이야. 아니 가브리엘이야 안지게 미 넘버 20 최송야라서 연제야 가브리엘이야 근데 감담해봐 레 넘버 20 최송야라서 봐다 니니게 가브리엘 주버된 야 주버야 뒤야다 냥알레 디비 수된 발라서 봐 최대의 수된 발라서 봐 니니게다 라미게 제바들 바도 메봐 두지 감담해봐도 팀비기 근데 제바 바도 메봐지 요로하다.
The first line in Tibetan is what we have in the end of the second line, when or the start of the first line and the end of the second line. My protector, whenever you manifest a Buddhahood, or in the newer translation, Savior, wherever you manifest Buddhahood. So Savior and protector, again, it's the same word, the same way to translate the same word, and the meaning wherever and whenever both apply. So our Lama, in his emanations, will appear in a variety of realms, in a variety of ways, in order to benefit beings. So appear in different realms, to different beings, in ways that perfectly suits their disposition and inclination in order to benefit them. So this then, so where we have the word whenever or wherever, the meaning is wherever you appear, in whatever form, whether now or in the future, wherever, and you display your Buddhahood, your emanations appear.
니니게 라미게 제바 신기 된 제바들이야 안 바도 메바든 시오레스 디 나네냐 아니 권제 가도 온바 상기비 세베네 내가 네 가나냐 아니 가브리네 델야 아니 지 상기비 초주게 나바 상기비 제바된제 아니 최송 안두샤 아니 지게 냠는지 타바담지 김베고 말고바 용어로와 디네상 권제 가도 온바 상기비 세드 된바 라마큐 안 마음바나 아니 지가 가소레 상기게 제 초주게 상기비 상기 제바된 비기 네텔라 소라 강도 네텔라 아니 콜교 토마니는 다결디에 세드에 아니 데니기 결혼교 로마 최년행 당보가 나 교쇼 사시스 그래 콜마 토마니 다결디에 콜교 토마니는 다결디에 권주의 강동은 바 상기비 콜교 토마니는 다결디에
Then into the second line in the Tibetan, also our second line, to be among your first circle of disciples, or alternatively, to be foremost among your first circle of disciples. Here, there will be times when our Lama shows himself as a wheel-turning Buddha, teaching the Dharma. Other times, he will not be showing himself or presenting himself as a wheel-turning Buddha, but will still be teaching the Dharma. So at such times, may I be among your first circle of disciples, or be foremost among your very first circle of disciples. In other words, where our Lama teaches, may we be there amongst his students, receiving those teachings.
Jenana lamigi sangi bigi zeba dun bigi du daga rangla ya nga kyorangi loma gyuwa sho sigarwa korgi toma nido dagyo se toma nido se du kyorangi chö sumbi du daga rangla ya nido se toma dangbo rangne nga kyorangi loma gyuwa sho sigarwa bene sangi gi zeba dun che lo kashi chinsarwe che le ya shini gyaba ki chö nyaya da dine memba bene nga zambuliya tumbashige tuba yulu waranasiliya anchoga tambo ko de koranga de sambo de dambo de de chösoyagi choga tambo ko ri loma dambo charwada ni ko me nyamlenji toko gyule yena lamsa toko gyule yeji dosiya ye dorwa na denege yang kap diriliya che güne tembasan yimde pe me hamoga chögine hamoga roje je ni jejelya lo mangwe jelya ne ja dembi denege an chiki chönyamne jaya yungruwa an denege jiza dene yungruwa dene jiza yungwa zan korgyo tomayi denege sanyi jeba duen sarje yunungbi je mayinba che sanyi ki chö ngomba zuwa sanyi be jeba duen bege du dagarala ngaya de dele ge an lame ki chö sungyo dagarangi kyo loma chö ki kolo korgyo sungyo be dangbo sungsaki chedu chewe dujade nga yuwa sho asayade Toma nido dagyurde daga rangla yuwa sho nido sede Toma nido sede daga rangla de nila sayachi kogorwa de nido yuwa sho loma yuwa sho sede.
I'll read both translations then of the same line. To be among your first circle of disciples, or alternatively, to be foremost among your very first circle of disciples. What is being emphasized here is that as soon as you appear in the world teaching the Dharma, may I be there. Not a while later, not may I leisurely amble along, or some point later hear of your presence. Immediately, as you are there teaching, may I be there, without any time passing. So if we think back to the historical Buddha, here the aspiration is to be like that very first circle of 5 students who the Buddha taught in Varanasi. Not like some students who many years later came to hear of the Buddha, then met the Buddha, and only then gained were able to receive instruction and training from the Buddha. Let me be like amongst those very first students, without any passage of time. So there is this feeling of urgency and immediacy, not wanting to waste a moment or to be separated from our teaching teacher for even a moment.
Denigi chunya suenam na suena bado yuwaza lamsa an chue suena de donda lamsa hako tuya dan an toba ti lamsa ki tuya yungorwa depende ngara zu ro shirwa ngara zu temba sanye chumde gi loma ro dan je sanye chumde de chue che su chue sungne chue je de nyamne je teba chi ro loma ro ine dan ngara zu gi temba sanye chumde de chue kolo kori kalwa dangbo ko kapla ngara zu gi ngo su je chue shu me sarwa an ni ba da sumba de ne kale me 지나 tempo ngogi loma de gyurmanyo ara bara 지나 dine za nga 주기 di ka sungan ju dine gi chetuye ga zu lo gogapta suenam de majung orwa suenam merwa 지나 다데 nga ju ya jike ji ine tempo gi cheje gi nyamne je nga zu suenam yö ba che da di ka blia busindo da dine ye wa de jaru jine dine gi thone ya suenam sa jen dine cheje ko bra de yungruwa 지나 dine za nga ju gi 디나신 that dembi chi so that dine loma juwa dangboran loma juwa sho se de dangboran loma juwa na dangboran nyu de dembe chibukalya ngosu dembe je demi loma je chue dan lamsa ha mo lamsa la lama ya ji chue da lami ge lamsa jinyi lapje andi jingang ju ge nibal ma so na gongpe ta ya da dine ge da swenam khabra je ne yue de ba yin za thomani do an loma juwa ina ane sanji gobang gyoga top tuya dan, ane xianle pando gyachi zhuya di gyoga je tuya ki nipa yongwa yinza, ane toma nido gyoga shuwa sayade.
Here with this expression of aspiration, one recognizes that to be amongst this very first circle of disciples of one's Lama when he teaches requires tremendous merit. Tremendous merit needs to be accumulated to bring about for the blessings to actualize and thereby to be with one's Lama. Therefore, when this happens and one is amongst the very first circle of students, one will have on one's continuum vast stores of merit, and thereby one's spiritual development will certainly be rapid. So we can understand this then through comparing our own situation to that of the students who were able to be in the presence of Buddha Shakyamuni and be in his presence as students with vast stores of merit and therefore keen interest in hearing the teachings and integrating them within themselves. We weren't amongst any circle of students for Buddha Shakyamuni. And so many lives would have passed before we came to meet the Dharma. And in fact, we can also think of this as right now, there are Dharma teachings here, but there are insects in this room, perhaps mosquitoes in this room, who are completely missing out. So let that never happen to us. In all future lives, wherever our Lama teaches, may we immediately, without a passage of any time, may we be there with a vast store of merit and thereby quickly attain Buddhahood so that we can quickly be of greatest benefit to all sentient beings.
당보 다 가와려야 초부 주게 넘버 20 넘버 상기비 제파 되어도 나 다하라야 아니 결혼 요새들이야 결혼기 로마 당보 제제 최념의 제 고급 당보 라와쇼 해야지 너나디 송으로 하다.
In the two translations, in the second line, we see either whenever or wherever. The word can be translated in either way, and both are correct. The supplication here, the aspiration that's being expressed, is wherever, whenever you appear and you teach, may I immediately be there, right at the front, amongst your very first disciples. Wherever, whenever, may I be there.
내가 탈도 고제 말려봐 배멜lunyu 주비게 자시소스데 내가 탈도요 고해디 가르가르여 봐디 안치오르다 나한테 되네게 진바 진내갑디 고야다 탈도요 고봐 냠는지 이렇게 림바디게 파 저산데 매바시데 배배주 깔레 몽보 배주 시우치 제 먹어봐지 아니 튕긴디게 아니 제가 lunyu 주바세데 고 남사 가르고 회나 아니 뒤도리야 줍투바지 영어 쉬어야지.
The verse concludes with, so all my temporal and ultimate wishes, without exception, become effortlessly and spontaneously fulfilled. So here the request is for all wishes, whether they be of a worldly nature or certainly those of the spiritual nature, may they be without effort and immediately fulfilled.
지난달 내가 교고야 가르고랑 아주 최년의 집에 가면 내가 교고라 가르고라서네 제가 저기 당한 줄 집에네 지다 제 튕게 다내 지게 내당 이걸 중화 천년바 내 상승이 매바 내 이제 교매바다 아는 아주게 되사다 사야 동에도 튕게다 데니기 튕기데 라바라바스인데 내가 거야 디스르와다 디스르와 네 튕긴데 거야 디스메나 디 디투비아드네 베세시 양도 최지요 거브라고 말해 안디마세 안디가서 최념는 제비 갑려야 아니 가래 디중요한 최종 최나 진경그의 계정고자 나시 나가줄래 최라 지바 남된 제간 지해 데네기 안도스코와 데네기 데네가래 고네 튕긴디게 차사 내가 튕긴디 차사 주바다 안디멘베게다 도섬다데 내가 다디스 튕긴데네시 라바체 딜레 되스 내가 세데 더 되스 딜레 사와 삼다베나 다 녜조나 장샘다 네 코발이야 녜종기야 잠로기야 녜종기야 잠니지 자주셈 디수기야 돼 냠는 파신 중에 냠는 도시에 도보줄에 되게 아니 저게 내가 비운된 책으로 와도 상마기비 내가 비운된자 내가 비스디 진짜 내가 비운된 들이야 내가 가지고 고야 들이야 식 먹고도와 진짜 가지고 사야도야 되서도 튕긴다 되네 내가 고야 직체 디면에 아주 최제라 바시자고라 안디 디여베나 안 되네야 근데 최시간다 아는 가지고 최 냠네 집에 갈래 최로 최기도 로봇이 로봇에게 최로 되네게 남된 시간에 고하지 디수여 고하지 안디 멤비게다 내가 불이야 저게다 이제 잠니 조금이하다 되네게 녜종 kom야 내는 동반이 다음에 보고 말아서 봐라 가브리엘이야 저게 다음에 kom야야 아니 그 집어지게 다음에 로세데 체탈로야 용무로 용거로 봐 내내게 마용와 같이 되네 같이 되게 매와데 되네게 튕긴 되게 야부줘야 제가 내가다 되네게 내가 섬다면 내가 비운된 데로 고야 되는 거들이야 들 라바라바는 딜레 차차 섬다나 직분 되네게 망보지도와 데서 찾아다 있는 거죠 배네 내가 비운된 사야도 데서 내 배가 주행하는 제발에 배수에 깔래 시우 자와나 니 된다야 깔래 잡체 체파 내가도 파파도 수도지도 최지하고 그러고 되네자 안절이야 되네 깔래 시라 자면 배수에 제모하체 안제 지금 곧 튕기되게 주버셔야다 디나시 녜종샤선 양대배 따와 공부이네 그래서 비시오지 배제자 균에 예마도 심주 짜야다 디네 멤버 안지 고명도 갑리야 안지 튕긴데 가는 자산 야고 용화제 베네디 용을 된 냠는지 저번에 시간 최시사 말아 최슈사 말아 안야지 디와바지 도와기 스티워전 기시티사 말아 니네기 강아티고 안 니네기 가래 고기는 튕긴데게 안 내가 튕기 야고 주버셔 사디송로 최도 네 라마스 말아와딩 안주게 되지 최대 다 기능 건조 나중 안주네 계신 겹투가 따로 세지로와 디나지다 안주게 제곧 파수 기치야다 되네 용으로 와되네 로바지야
You look then further at what the temporal wishes refers to. Perhaps here we can rather think of it as both temporal and temporary, both meaning both, because it includes all the favorable circumstances that one requires in order to be able to spiritually develop. So to be in a place that is conducive to be able to receive teachings, a place that where there are not pandemics, a place where one is without illness, a place that's comfortable and at ease. It's comfortable and it's easy to live there. So without the coarse obstacles that would prevent one from engaging in the Dharma. Then, in addition to these, that one has harmonious spiritual companions, friends on the path, so similar to the function of the Sangha jewel. So those with whom one engages in one's study, accompanies one in meditation practice, and so forth. So one also, this then is also included in the temporal and temporary qualities, wishes, as well as then the temporary attainments. Not the ultimate attainments, the temporary attainments, such as realizations of definite emergence, love and compassion, wisdom realizing emptiness. Also, so that one doesn't have obstacles, for example, when cultivating the understanding of definite emergence, where one doesn't fall into the extreme of existence or the extreme of nihilism. and that all of these favorable circumstances, both temporary or temporal, that these are attained with ease, so that one doesn't need to apply oneself with great effort, or with effort at all, to acquire all the favorable circumstances one requires.
Jizada anzulu goya de la karosan negap goya de ne chasan andi goya de chasan ji bezu me ba ji kale shu ge di don da la pa ze ji pa pa ro su ro du su chola ta mo wa che lam sa de ne ani be me do de ne gi bezu chenbu che mo wa che din tu tu yong wa sho sa da de ne di ro tar tardu ksaya de tardu go de ga ra tardu de ga san ji go ba de wa che tam ji ngo su be tar chin bi yi she san ji go ba to wa ji san ji go ba to ba la ga ru go go ra se ne ga zu li ya di yin la pa jun ju ge nyam le na dong ba ni do bi ani ji nyu ka so re nyu mo ba cha ge nyen bo dong ba ni do be she rap da ani ja ju sem de so go go ra de so da tardu san ji go ba to ba la de ni ge nyam le ni lam nyam le ni rin ba de ge cha sa ani be zu den be직 배주에 마신바 강아지 뭐지 매매 lundu 되게 아니 죽도록 쇼 사지 디스고로.
Just to say further on the temporary benefit or the temporary benefit of having Dharma friends. So these would be the friends on the path similar to Sangha. So this is the kind of relationship that you have with each other. Our Dharma friends, our companions in our spiritual development. So these and all other temporary and temporal wishes, that they are attained without effort, immediately. In that, one doesn't need to waste one's time, waste one's focus, trying to gather the conditions that are required in order to attain or fulfill one's ultimate wish. And ultimate, this word has almost always has the meaning of the final wish, the final wish, which will refer here to Buddhahood. And Buddhahood is attained through the acquisition or the acquiring of all the temporal and temporary wishes, the fulfillment of those, and through developing them, particular meditating on love, compassion, generating bodhicitta, cultivating the wisdom, realizing emptiness, and thereby attaining or fulfilling one's ultimate wish, the attainment of Buddhahood.
Andine da jiza dine zada nga jugi yang ji negap se de negap nga jugi chue nyamne je bala an chue la de bi de ba chue ji de gi de ni gi dun ba dine ane dine gi yo ba ji ya an chue lam den je khen de lama da dine gi cha ba sho se negap de so ye chen bu cha go wa den ji sang chue nyamne je bala dang bo chue nyamne ji de ba chue le de bi de ba ma ke na chue le 제도 dumbaligi mare dumba mena ndongi dumba mena chöliya jangzuligi mare 제가다 데네기 dumba 데네 kewe shin chi matevena nya nyamna chiya koprego ma dine zada negapsidida negapji chöle debata dönyer dumbada dönyerda delya chölam de kewe shin chasan de tesulya kalekya bezoche ma ba dinegi rawasho sana din tardu sanje go ma tobala jenju sem jenju jamninji ke jenju sem güleke that Sanjugoban Tobala, Jamnijimeba, Sanjugoban Toto Merva. Chesna Tardu Sanjugoban Tobala, Goyagi, Karikos, Jamni de Chajusem, Tomani to be Sherab, Parjinjugan Yamlendi, Disukoere, Di Yamlen Yakuchi to Beji, Beju, Sherache, Mawaj, Bele, Lowen, Lamsan, Tojo, Yuleki to a show, Sigurd Danda, Disungora Dandala. Tardu Sanjugoban, Jijibut. The Tarduk said the Sanju Gomotobala, Goyagar, Goydes and Goyag, Carriores, Jamni de Changes and Tony to be a Parjugin Yamdi, D. Nani Galeshu, Yam Bezu, Lamsan, Jogu Kit or short, Yamni Tartu for sure. Negap sitting on the Negap Telada, and the Lam Yamlin Chebala, and the Karkugures, and it Gasod. Dangbokhora Sayatoya, Tungena, and Desata, Dinida, Chazan Guaje, and Delia, Chelia, Dunya Dumba, because Devada, Dunir Dumbada, Della Lam Dunga Kiwi Shin, Della and Churro said to Anzulia, Chenyam and Jebalia, and Tungi that didn't token Rochi Hendicated Churro, on the Nigisasa, Tungi Yaba Zomba Tiso, Bezokale Yamoat Lamsa, and Rawasho said did it or another.
This term ultimate, we understand it through synonyms of final or even long term, and it refers to the final state one is striving to achieve, one's long-term goal, the attainment of one's long-term goal. Here it refers to the state of Buddhahood. The temporary or temporal refers to all the favorable circumstances that are required in order to bring about the attainment of one's final goal. So this will refer to material circumstances, as well as our companions, our Dharma friends, as well as our Lama, and it will include the development of aspiration or sincere yearning to attain one's final goal, as well as then all the realizations that are required: definite emergence, realizing love, realizing compassion, realizing bodhicitta, developing the wisdom, realizing emptiness too, because without the wisdom realizing emptiness conjoined with bodhicitta, the ultimate goal, the final goal, can never be attained. So therefore, the temporary or temporal refers to all the circumstances that are required in order to bring about the attainment of the final goal, the state of Buddhahood.
Lama Chökyi Loma Dangbo Gyurwaine, Dangbo Lama Zin the Chökyi Loma Chawaine, Magic Chökyi Dangbo the Chön, Dunyer the Yakurash Mevane, and Yagi to Sharayomarwa. And the Maze Anjig Tungeroj Madavane, Chökyi Lama Digo, Loma Dangbo Chavare, the Chökyi Kohomara, the Tungi Medu, Tungin Dondalia, and the Paso Droya, Chicale, Japtu, Senegalian, Adading, Jetu Samare said, the nigger Gangadu said, Tungi Muting out, Troya Ragminus and Kohaminus and Alegado said, the Nizine and Barshi Unguru, what there were. And then me, Jesu, Loma Chandi, Tungi, I was a man, and Yamlin, Lobsang Yacha, and Azuki, the Unguru, what I the Tonsho Yubarushiwa, Jeza, the Neza, the Nigi, and Barshi Mion said, Diruadin.
And amongst these, the temporary qualities, there's one I want to draw out here, and that is that of aspiration, or can be expressed as a longing or a yearning. Because in dependence on the strength or the quality of this, the strength of this quality that the student has, they will apply themselves to the advice that their Lama is giving them, and thereby their spiritual development will come about. If their longing or yearning for spiritual development is weak, then there won't be much mental transformation. If it's strong, it will come about much more easily. Because the wide variety of favorable circumstances that are required in order for spiritual development to come, many can be overcome if one's yearning, one's aspiration is sufficiently strong. One can work through life's demands, one's need for material development, material comfort and so forth, in order to be able to have the time to receive the teachings and to integrate them. So therefore this quality of yearning or longing is of great importance.
Deshi Gonje Gandon, Tibetan Gonje Gandu, Kiwa Kizin, Kudona, Kizin, Kiwa Tamsina, Kawa, Kiwa Inea, that didn't answer Kishurache, then answering Kiwa Chima, San Yoko, Madonna, Kawa, Kiwa in Lama Chökyi Alia, Zevi Chison, Song Alia, Chu Dunrochi said, Chu, and then the Jamni, the Chachus and Tabas, Chimbi, Chu, Yamli, Bating Alia, Dunrochi, Dun, the Nigger Dunrochi, and Molam Jada. The nigger Lami Chu Tembatella, the Ning Yamlin Chesia, Lami Kusum Tukum Yuenten, Dina Jing Yuli Tupche, Lamegi, 지금 냠는 지안이야 판도 집안 내나 제도바지 요쇼 세디 아주 기디나 되니기 말람 자야지 다당보 아주 뒤에 지지 당보 뒤에 송거로 당하는지다 띵하는지야 이제는 진짜 오래 세지 당하는지야 꿀말는 거로 니기네 당보리지 당보리.
The verse preceding this 113, there, this verse is expressing a prayer made when one has accumulated lots of merit, or accumulated merit, and what one is expressing is that, may I never be separated from my Lama. May I never be separated from you. May we always continuously be together. And may I utilize the opportunity of being in your presence to utilize that opportunity in the best of ways to continue my spiritual development, to hear your teachings, reflect on them, and meditate on them repeatedly over a sustained period, not sporadically, in order to achieve my sincere goal of attaining exactly the qualities you have, the qualities of your body, your speech, and your mind, both those which are evident, as well as those which are not visible, those which are not visible or are secret. So this then is the yearning, or the aspiration that is expressed in the previous verse.
Di nga zu mao ba na yang zu ge lama de da che che lama di zen de che xu ya de che de lama ge song ye che song ye de nga zu che xu de ka bla lama de che song ye de nga zu lam sa nga zu la ha go ya da nyam len en jo ga ji tu ya de yong go re ko tin de ge to ne che sa de ne za lama de tin de mo lam ge de mao ba na lama de le ya ja je ya ra wa lama de che xu ya ra wa che xu ye ne ka bla ya lama ge che song lam sa Lama Chöpa le la ro dum de ro chi sing to ya de yong go re ni be de shi yuri da de sik dang bo ji ge molam jabi gi ya ba na gar yong go re se ne de ne yong go re se ji de shi go.
And through this prayer, one is expressing the aspiration that from life to life may we never be separated, and moreover, when you teach, may I be there, may I immediately be there, without any passing of time, may I be foremost amongst your students, receiving teachings and applying myself to develop them, cultivate them within myself, and thereby speed my spiritual development.
Sangi be zeba tuen be denege chogo tuge namba zeba tuen de kabla ya andi lame ge khorge chiking alia lama denege zeba tuen nga khorge thoma gyo sho sa de dangbo de lame ge giru shawa sho gyo sho denege en gyu kabla ya denege gyu ne lame ge karsore karso denege ani chikti ne ga so nyamlen jebe ne kabla ya 내가 고야기 튕기되게 내 배제 갈래 잠모하지 배제를 뭐와 lunju 주바다 아니 타르도기 산조고 바토베지 냠내지 림바디아 이네 아니 제 배제시고 갈래 잠하면서 아니 도구줄에 기토가 용하셔야돼 또 나님보다 디스모르다.
And moreover, that until I attain enlightenment, becoming just like you, wherever you are, whenever you appear, wherever you appear, whenever you appear, may I be immediately amongst your very first group of students, so that I can once again receive your guidance, your care, your teachings, and do so without any obstacles arising from a lack of favorable circumstances, but rather whatever circumstances that are required, without effort, and immediately or spontaneously rather, may I have those so as to aid my spiritual development for the sake of all beings.
Denegi molam java denegi ralia and dusi dengan molam java reses and dusungorwa. Dene Jazan Julia 안주기 두시는 몰람 개발네 몰람기 툴라 되네 마오바나 안주기 되는 냠는 제도 갑려야 튕긴 주야 되게 아니 레라 줍투야 되는 용거로와.
We should make prayers like this because it's through making these prayers we enhance the causes that will ensure that in future lives we do have all the required circumstances to aid our spiritual development.
지혜기 돈이기 뒤바지려바디 다 마오바나 녀망아 저기 두스네 쉐리아 곰시다 바자다 데니기 몰람 제비 긴지 안솔레 두스레디여와 다 데니기 레디 갑리아 다 저기 지 최지에 고급티에 대지게 안저 수브림치기 된 최소 소전 델이야 내가 레긴 튕긴 차상기 지 줍체 직바 최년 시제기 사실 바 중요되디 튕겨를 와당아서 제산디 튕긴디게 는 직주체자 다 소소라랑게 되는 제반에 갈래 하고와 제가 되는게 생기 튕기 줍체가서 될이야 내쟁아 중에 제 고급 라와디 당아주 최제기 냠는기 제기 튕겨를 와데 제가 돼서 갈래 싫어 잠모지 진한 쪽에 소소란 거네 갈래 싫어 잠모지 가서 줍투어데 제가 되는게 대수인의 안쪽에 삼다वे나 또 유매바단 제외매바를 유매바를 되는 용거 말. 제가 유리 개왕아마디 유리 사바 타처와 유 사바네 가르사여선다 되는 용하셔서 몰람자여베 타처와다. 제가 되는 인상 안쪽에 제외 삼다वे나 니 유사여 사바데 용거와 사바 타고도. 제가 되는 인자 안저 다되는 아주 두시는 마음바데 되는 용하셔 몰람자바네 디 몰람이 제부디 두야게 되는 용하셔와.
Let's take a moment now to think of your own individual circumstance. So in general, I can say for all of you, but look at your own individual circumstance. Why are you here right now? And this, that you are here, has come about in dependence on a vast number of causes. And foremost amongst these are the imprints and prayers that you have created in your past lives. Because it's due to the imprints that you have accumulated and the expression of prayer that in this life one has a yearning for spiritual development, a faith in the Buddha Dharma. And depending on the quality of those imprints, you find yourself here now. Moreover, that there is such a place to be and that you could encounter it is dependent on Lama Chöpa and all this staff that have, over the decades, have ensured that this place, this Dharma center, was developed and maintained. So these are our favorable circumstances that we are enjoying without much effort. In dependence on the causes that you created, you have a faith and a yearning that brought you here, and that these favorable circumstances were immediately here. One didn't need to make any effort to enjoy the benefit. So in this way, one can see the result of the causes and the prayers that one expressed in past lives, the causes one created and the prayers that one expressed in past lives.
Lama Chöpa 냠내 맨마 제 고수는 냠내 고수는 되냐 자산 직접 냠내 자산 줍제데 타마딜이야 돌뒤네 안쪽에 두시네 잠당 몰람자야다 되니기 지게 두시네 몰람자디디 숨도와 디바도 디 차바르다.
We've covered all the major outlines of the Lama Chöpa, and now we have come to this summary here. And in this summary, we're expressing for our continued spiritual development. In other words, all these attainments we've expressed aspiration for and meditated on, that these come about.
나디네 디레다 마 나디신 안쪽에 Lama Chöpa 냠는 지도가라 김고디게 사답 아니직 두신의 차상 라마기님 주얼하소 차상 사답제 두신의 여러와다 다디 수 뒤에기 들레다 디송거데 디뒤에디 대달 소와데베 Lama Chöpa 진기 랍치리 계신 지워져 라야 니에 비메 제로라 샵서셔 담보 슈소서세 데 초신 뒤에 되다.
Now we come to the next verse over the page, verse 115, with our outline of absorbing the merit fields. Because before us, we have visualized Lama as indivisible from the Buddha and the Yidam and the entire merit field. Having thus been entreated, Supreme Guru, please grant this request, happily alight on the crown of my head, so that you might bless me and once again set your radiant feet firmly at the corolla of my lotus heart.
Deda sowa debe siduen, deda sowa debe se diji gangi dikere de sowa daya di anzu du sin chunga shyo sa de ma so de shu sowa di dene sowa de. Da dene sowa debe du an da garire sin da mini lami gi so jing ye la di ye le we se chue je we se pa chue dene gi ane ne de gi ane bene sa ji da de cha sa ma an ju sim je pa tim dine semjen dige chasan chojing la de yil pa chu du wo re che du ba dine ma ba che ge saro du dine chojing la de ne chasan jik jik pa tim je ma lama la tim zo lama la jik lama la tim dine lama doan do cha del ba tim da lama ji da dine ge tim che je ya dine lama cho lama dine ge tuan lama de ye xin labchiri geshe kasa jingi labchiri geshin jiwa juan sida da ngana zulya lama pa tu gebi zule ngana zulya pe jik tu ge ne gawi ngo ne ngana zul jingi labi duandu lama pa su pe je ngana zul jiwa dili ya jiwa dili pa shu jiwa dili shu pa dos mo pa che wale jire geshin jiwa juan sida deda sowa debe lama ju jingi laki jiwa juan sida.
So the English and the Tibetan is quite mixed. So the first line in the Tibetan is our first line, having thus been entreated, Supreme Guru. So this then, having thus been, refers to what has the requests that have just been made above, these requests that were humbly made, or these entreaties. And then, and they've all been, as we know, expressed to our Supreme Lama. So now, after the first line, one dissolves the visualization before one. So one dissolves it from the outer in, the varying levels of deity, one into the other, all coming down together into the central figure of Lama Chöpa Dorje, or our Lama, who's visualized as indivisible from the Yidam and Buddha. So all from out to in, all the deities are visualized, that have been visualized, dissolve into our Lama. And this then brings us to the second line, which is, it starts with, so that you might bless me, and then above, happily alight on the crown of my head.
Da jingi lebe che so jiwol ma shu che dine lami gule ane je ngol ya 진제 가서 람비게 투기게 연대 인바라 넘버 뒤지긴 넘버 파 지파제 랑류를 마셔지 류 탐제 강하지 안에 제 류기 내 나서 동화 탐제 세르 류 안에 지금 외계 라신전도 교송화 선비게 되네 매바제 오래서 모두 람비게 구송 투송의 연대 인바라 넘버 뒤지기 나신지 마 주셔마 팀 류마 팀도 류디제 강하지 류기 견 탐제 세 나서 동화 탐제 파 세네 류기는 견 탐제단 대비기 외계 라신전도 교송화 선비게 돼 되스는 매바제 오래지래.
And then one imagines all the qualities of one's Lama.
The Yunden all at Dombani Dobel, Jamini, Janjus, Dombani to Shira Imbala, the Duzinashin Jene, Pata Duzinashin Mapa.
So then one imagines all the qualities of our Lama visualized above us, dissolving into us like nectar, purifying all our obstacles, such as illness, as well as subtler obstacles as well. So this then is the next level where one, or the next step, where one visualizes all the qualities of one's Lama as nectar dissolving into oneself, thereby purifying oneself of all obstacles.
Laria Ningi Bime Zerula, Chefs and Vegetam Shuso, said that dinner, and Yagama, that in the Lamadima, Juan Ma, Rang kissing on the Jiki, Zat Ninki, Zatap Yes, as your water, Di Ningalo, Uiteleba, Dinma, Juan Ma, Zauman Ma, Shuche, Ningi, Bime Zerula, said the Ningi Bime Ladu, Zatap Ye, Ugi, Uma Kimatelia, and Rangi Semna, Yang Oje make it Chene. Shusons, chefs of your temper, shoes, then my sugar rangi, some chashin towers, and Nuxum Tamochorba, Nuxum Tamo de Dang, Rangi Lama de Mo Yermechine, Lama da Idam, some more Yermech, Jusons, and Bemachi or Egere. And Jumba Laria didn't learn, she was at the Majuso, said Niga.
And then it concludes, it's a little mix for us. And once again, at the corolla of my lotus heart, set your radiant feet firmly, pray grant this request. So here, having visualized nectar of the Lama's qualities in the form of nectar dissolving into oneself, now the visualized Lama above one's head, we visualize moving down our central channel and coming to our very center heart at the heart chakra. And this is at the very center of our heart chakra, which is the meaning of at the corolla of my lotus heart, or upon the very center of the lotus at my heart. The lotus, as was mentioned before, refers to the shape of the heart chakra, and this is where we visualize our Lama, or the three stacked beings of our Lama, being indivisible with the Yidam and Buddha, and he becomes, we imagine, being indivisible from our subtle mind. So our Lama, who's indivisible from the Yidam and Buddha, we imagine now too, at our heart, indivisible with our subtle mind.
Onda denegi timje lama idam rangi sem yuksem chamo ngo yeme de gyurso asem samde de da pa tu chin ninga dilaya yuksem chamo de ngo pa ta du jik pa rangi sem dang lama de da gare sem de da gare idam sen da gare ko sum ngo yem de res delia sechi du mi je da do chin kom je chue da dinde yungo res de denegi da dang ju kirem da zorimge nyamnen jidu kabla denegi yungo rejere.
So this is a meditation which is part of, or one would be familiar from, engaging in generation and completion stage practice, where one understands that one's subtle mind is indivisible in nature from one's Lama, Yidam, and the Buddha.
And then Direta Deji Shading Zumalam Jayata, Undu Sinda Sojun Dubi Kabla Deneke Samda, the Situ Misha Com Jayala Sobada, or Denisha, and that in it, Jamadilang, that the Molam Jayadi Madam, you case a Jew more than one Molam Jaro Shagado.
And tonight then we looked at verses 113 and 14, which were prayer, and the 115th verse, which was the dissolution or the absorbing of the merit field. All that is left is dedication verse and verses of auspiciousness. And are there any questions? Then thank you. Then until next week. Thank you very much.